Hey, thanks for making it to Veterans Info Tap. I'm glad you made it. I just wanted to do a quick follow-up on the article regarding Agent Orange exposure and no service connection. At the end of that video, I talked about how you can get service connected and basically a roadmap, a path on which you can do it for these types of situations. Ideally, you would have a presumptive condition and a presumptive list would be established and you'd be able to just put it in and not have to worry about creating the nexus. However, if you're in a situation where that's not the case, what can you do? That's what I'm going to dive into here, and I'm happy to share it. Please hit the thumbs up, subscribe, share with a friend, all that good stuff. I truly appreciate it. If you want to support the channel in other ways, consider being a member. It really does help. You can do that. Go to the homepage. You'll see the highlighted members and a join button. Thank you guys so much. I appreciate all you members, all you supporters, subscribers, and watchers, thumb uppers, all that stuff. Thank you so much. So let's jump into it here. All right, most people are aware that the Vietnam era folks have a presumptive list for Agent Orange, and it's primarily, well, it used to just be boots on the ground in Vietnam. Then it slowly expanded neighboring areas, even over to the DMZ in Korea, and then they pushed out into the water and created the with the Navy Blue Water and pushed that out 12 nautical miles. That's all great. However, through the years, I have heard many individuals say, look, I was never in Vietnam, but at my base, we had Agent Orange. It was everywhere. We used it, we tested it, we stored it, whatever the case is. Now, we are in a situation to where those folks are potentially going to get recognized. Now, it's not done yet, but there is a proposal in to add many bases throughout the U.S., Canada, and India, I believe it was, to that presumptive conditions list. However, again, it's not currently in place. So what could you do in order to get service connected for your condition that would be presumptive due to Agent Orange? Now, Agent Orange exposure has a whole list of presumptive conditions. I'm not going to name them all, but there's a whole host of cancers, diabetes, ischemic heart disease, hypertension, to name a few. So if you have anything on that presumptive list and you served in an area that you know had Agent Orange, or you're not sure if they even did, what would I do, right? So let's go with you're not sure if you served in an area that had Agent Orange exposure. Okay, so what would you do? If you have a presumptive condition that's listed on the VA's website for presumption of Agent Orange exposure, if you have one of the conditions listed, the cancers or anything else, then what you should do is you should go look and research, do some Google searching to see if Agent Orange was ever used at any of the locations that you served. Used, tested, stored, any of that type of stuff in any of the locations you served during the time frame that you served, ideally. Now, it doesn't have to be that way, because if it was used there, it could stick around for a long time. And if you're digging fighting positions or foxholes or whatever, you are going to be digging up, those toxins. So see if it was used there. This is going to help you determine whether or not you have a leg to stand on. Now, let's say that you do know that it was used there during the time you were there or before you were there. Same thing, you're going to search. Now, I'm going to use, based on that last video, I'm going to use Fort Ord in California as the example. There was actually, now Fort Ord, just for everybody's awareness, if you didn't see that video, Fort Ord is not on the proposal list for newly added locations in the United States for Agent Orange presumptive conditions. Fort Ord is not. Now, you may ask why. Why is it not? because the VA is utilizing a list that was given to them by the DoD, the Department of Defense, where the DoD recognizes we stored, used, or tested Agent Orange at these specific locations. And it is an incomplete and inaccurate list, but it is a list nonetheless, and that's what the VA is going with for now. So, for Fort Ord, in the article that I read in the previous video, a 1995 report from the Army's Sacramento Corps of Engineers documented chemicals detected in the soil at Fort Ord found levels of TCD at 3.5 parts per trillion, more than double the remediation goal at the time, which was 1.2. And they call that evidence convincing. Okay. Now, what happens is that Agent Orange is a nickname, right, for the weed killer that was used, right? And there was two different kinds of chemicals used, and the way that they word them, it's a little bit funny. They're similar, and I'm not going to name them both, but basically, it has this one chemical that's 2,4,5-T. Is the chemical, one of the chemicals, 50% of the combination for Agent Orange. And with regard to that report from the Army Corps of Engineers, right? I mean, come on. So it clearly supports the fact that 2,4,5-T, which is part of Agent Orange, half of it, with unknown amounts of dioxin TCD was applied on the Fort Ord grounds and border fences. So, to me, what you need to do is go, okay, well, great. In this specific situation, and there was others. There was articles, pictures before and after of utilizing essentially Agent Orange in Fort Ord, and that was used and shown, the before and afters, and you can find those articles. You can find this specific report by the Army Corps of Engineers, and now you can build a nexus. So if you have a presumptive condition, and so you're not going to be able to file it as a presumptive because you weren't in the right location, but you have one of the conditions that are associated with Agent Orange, and you served in this example, Fort Ord. You would then grab this specific document on the usage of Agent Orange in that location. You would use that documentation. You'd pull up any sort of news articles you could find, anything like that. That's proof now. That's evidence that Agent Orange was being utilized. Then you would work with your doctor to create the Nexus Letter with rationale surrounding the fact that Agent Orange was used at your specific location, and you were digging holes around there, right? And, eating the dirt and so forth. So just a way for you to prove your nexus so you can file your claim. Now, once you file your claim with any reports, any news articles showing that Agent Orange was being used, then with your Nexus Letter and your proof of your diagnosis and the fact that you served in that location, and you submit your claim, the VA could deny you, sure. But what I would do is, if they denied me, I would do a higher level review, where I would request the informal conference. I would point out that I have evidence, in this case, from the Army Corps of Engineers stating that Agent Orange was used there, and that I have a Nexus Letter stating that my condition is most likely due to my exposure to the Agent Orange residuals that were located on the base that I was at during this specific time frame, blah, blah, blah. And, I don't know why I wouldn't be service connected for this if I'm checking these boxes. And then if they deny you again, I would push it to the board, and I feel as though you would have a really good shot with the board. So with that, thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. Have a great one. And remember, if we don't take care of each other, something went wrong.